So previously on the channel, we covered the best teams of the first 3 generations, and while those were all fine and dandy, the 4th generation is where things started to get serious. So here we are today with the best team for Generation 4. The 4th generation of Pokemon truly built off of what the 3rd generation brought us, by adding many more great abilities and items into the competitive scene. But the biggest contribution they gave to the Pokemon series was the oh-so-revered physical special split. No longer were moves limited to using only the physical or special attack stat based on what their typings were, and instead could bask into the glory of being either or. This made a lot of Pokemon more useful and varied in what they could do, and truly changed the competitive nature of Pokemon in the most impactful way out of any changes made before the 4th gen or even after. As you can tell, I'm pretty hyped to finally be talking about this generation, so I think I should just cut the intro here and dive right into this best team. So we're going to start this team the way we often do, and that's with the legendary of the generation. There's some great options, but I think the obvious one here is definitely the defensive juggernaut that is Dialga. It's got a fantastic typing of Steel and Dragon that defensively has only 2 weaknesses, Fighting and Ground. So outside of those weaknesses, it resists 9 typings and is immune to poison, which just speaks to that defensive side of things. It uses the ability Pressure, which of course will run down the PP of the opposing Pokemon's moves, but you guys already know all about that ability. The stats for Dialga are pretty great as well, with 120 in defense and 100 in special defense, along with base 100 HP, and even a decent speed stat with base 90. However, the real banger among these stats is that base 150 special attack. And you gotta know already, I'm throwing 252 EVs in speed and special attack. And since that special attack is already so high, I went with the Intimidator for Dialga to speed up a bit more. Those boosts give it 399 special attack and 306 speed. But man, let me tell you, that is not as well, as I've also given Dialga the choice specs. That's right, not only have we got the physical special split finally, but we've also got a ton of new items that have become mainstays in competition, and this is one of them. The choice specs will give Dialga 598 in special attack, but it'll force it to use the first move it selects in battle until it switches out. The moves that I've given Dialga for this team are Dragon Pulse, Flash Cannon, Ice Beam, and Thunderbolt. That first move, Dragon Pulse, is a very good one on Dialga, that is boosted to 135 base power from stab and will hit for great special dragon damage. Flash Cannon is possibly even better, as at 120 stab boosted base power, it'll hit hard and have a 10% chance to lower the opponent's special defense. The next move is Ice Beam, and with its 10% chance to freeze and 90 base power, it'll be a great option to turn to, so Dialga can defend itself against dragon types. Lastly, Thunderbolt is at 90 base power with a 10% chance to paralyze the opponent, and it's a great general coverage move that offers an electric edge not present on the rest of the team. The next Pokemon is a pseudo-legendary from this generation, which follows suit with what we usually do on these teams. That means we've got ourselves the absolute dominant Garchomp here in its natural habitat of Generation 4. Garchomp was so insane back in this generation that it managed to get banned to Ubers by Smogon pretty quickly. And with the all-powerful Earthquake on its side, it managed to tear through almost everything. Its ability doesn't come into the equation on this team, being Sandville, as it is a really good one made to take advantage of the sand. That's not a huge deal though, as even without getting anything out of its ability, Garchomp still hits ridiculously hard and is an absolute beast on the battlefield. The stats on it are really tremendous, spearheaded by the 130 in attack and 102 speed that it has. Its other stats are rather decent as well, with 95 defense and 85 special defense, and a very nice base 108 HP. I of course needed to focus on the speed and attack of Garchomp, so I gave it 252 in those stats, and also gave the Jolly Nature, which makes things come out to 359 in attack and 333 in speed. I've gotta say though, I'm not all that sold on that speed, so I think we can do better. Let's give Garchomp yet another new item introduced in the 4th generation, the Choice Scarf. Just like the Choice Band and specs, this will leave Garchomp locked into whatever move it goes for first. But in return, its speed will go up from 333 to 500, and that will most certainly allow it to outspeed tons of other Pokemon. Garchomp's moveset is Earthquake, Outrage, Iron Head, and Stone Edge. Earthquake is the premier move on this set, with its absolutely bonkers 150 base power boosted from stab. It's so spammable and can be used over and over on tons of Pokemon that aren't either flyers or using Levitate for an ability. The next move is Outrage, and with the base power that is stab boosted to 180, you've got another great move to turn to, and the cool thing is it can be pulled out against almost any other Pokemon, since it's Generation 4, and there are no fairy types that can even be seen yet. Though if there were fairy types, Iron Head is another move in this set that would be great to use against them, with 80 base power and a 30% chance to flinch the opponent. Though I guess it's still good for coverage against the one massive weakness that Garchomp has, the Ice typing. Stone Edge is also there with its 100 base power, and it also offers great coverage for those Ice types, and also boasts a high critical hit ratio. You're going to be hitting hard and fast with this beloved sweeper, and it feels good to have it featured on the team. Next up, we'll continue our usual pattern and feature a starter from the Sinnoh region, and in this case, it's the fire starter, Infernape. This Great Ape is an absolute gem among the rough with these 3 starters, and it became a pretty easy selection for this team considering its nice move pool and stats. It's got the ability Blaze, which unfortunately marks a 3rd straight useless ability for the team, but it's alright as this team should thrive even so. The stats on Infernape, like I mentioned, are pretty good. It's got base 108 speed, and then base 104 in attack or special attack. Clearly there was a choice here for going with either physical or special since both are viable, but given the state of the fighting type at this point, I felt it would work out much better to make Infernape a physical attacker. That means I'm giving it 232 EVs in attack and speed, as well as the Jaw nature, which leaves it with 307 in attack and 346 in speed. That's pretty good, but of course it can always be better. And I decided to finish the trifecta of choice items by throwing the choice spin on Infernape. This sent its attack stat up to 460. Close Combat, Mach Punch, Flare Blitz, and Thunder Punch are the 4 moves I've got on this set for Infernape. Close Combat is one of the best moves that got introduced in the 4th generation, and despite the drop in defenses when used, it'll hit for 180 base power via stab, and this absolutely crushed many Pokemon. Mach Punch is another stab move that heads up to 60 base power and has priority, so it'll do a good job taking out a Pokemon that is near defeat if need be. The next move is Flare Blitz, and that's going to have 180 base power from stab. That makes it another insane move to use along close combat for doing major damage. Unfortunately though, it is a move with 33% max HP recoil, so it'll not be something that can be used often in battle. Finally, there is Thunder Punch, which is 75 base power with a 10% chance to paralyze the opponent, and it serves as great coverage against water and flying types, 2 of Infernape's biggest weaknesses. This set is one that will decimate an opponent, but it could limit Infernape's time on the field if not used correctly. Next up on the team, we've got a Pokemon I often like to feature on some in-game best teams, that being the bouquet Pokemon, Roserade. This is one of those evolutions of prior Pokemon that was introduced in the 4th generation, and it is definitely one of the best. It's got 2 relatively solid abilities, a Natural Cure and Poison Point, and the former one is the one I went with. Natural Cure works in a way where Roserade can be hit by a status element, and upon switching it out, it'll be cured of it. That's a pretty good ability to have, and it will definitely help prolong Roserade's usefulness in battle. Roserade has got a great base special attack at 125, and rather good special defense to which comes in at 105 base. I figured the best thing to do is to make it a speedy special attacker, and that means it has to get 232 EVs in special attack and speed. I've got to make it timid as well to really drive that speed up, and in doing so, we're left with 349 special attack and 306 speed. I want to see Roserade hit a bit harder though, so I decided to give it the Life Orb, which will power up the base power of its moves by 1.3 times in exchange for 10% of Roserade's health. It'll be a great help in having Roserade hit harder, and as you'll see at the moveset, I included a little something to help Roserade mitigate the loss of health. Roserade's moveset is Energy Ball, Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, and Synthesis. Energy Ball is a great stab move that Roserade will get to make use of, with its base power boosted to 156 from stab and the Life Orb. It's got a 10% chance to lower the opposing Pokemon's special defense by a stage 2, so it plays really well with the rest of the set. The next move is Sludge Bomb, which has 175 base power thanks to stab and the Life Orb, and it has a 30% chance of poisoning the opponent, which will absolutely come in handy during a battle. These are 2 moves that just absolutely hit hard, and with one lowering special defense and the other causing poison, there's a pretty good chance that Roserade can sweep an opponent. Shadow Ball is the next move, and it gets boosted to 104 base power from the Life Orb, and it serves as coverage for the psychic types that threaten Roserade's poison side. And it has a 20% chance to lower the opposing Pokemon's special defense. Finally, we've got Synthesis, which will restore Roserade's HP that it will be losing via Life Orb. Like I said, I think Roserade has major sweep potential, and it can really play well against some of the best Pokemon in the 4th generation. Though that's just my opinion. You guys know how much I love Roserade. Before we move on though, I do have 2 other options for Roserade. You could replace Energy Ball with Giga Drain, that way you can get HP back and do damage. If you want more coverage as well, you could replace Synthesis with Extra Sensory. I do like the moveset that I do have on it though, but the choice all this comes down to you. In the penultimate spot, we've got Sablei's much cooler and stronger cousin, the Pokemon locked deep within the Keystone known as Spiritomb. This one has the ability Pressure, which we've already seen on Dialga, but in this case, it is better, because it really plays well with this Pokemon, serving more of a stalling role. I've given it the leftovers, so that it will restore 1/16 of its HP at the end of each turn. Its stats focus a lot on its defenses, and in that case, I decided to add 232 EVs to its awful base 50 HP and good base 108 defense, as well as the bold nature. Those stat changes result in an incredibly modest 303 HP and great 346 defense, creating some form of bulk that we can rely on. Hopefully Spiritomb, without there being any weaknesses for it to worry about, since the fairy typing doesn't exist yet, will serve well as a stalling Pokemon for you guys with this upcoming moveset. Calm Mind, Dark Pulse, Substitute, and Toxic are the 4 moves that Spiritomb is comprising its moveset. Calm Mind is really good, and it also helps build up a special defense we didn't do anything with when adding any Vs. A single Calm Mind will raise Spiritomb's special defense to 378 and special attack to 333, suddenly creating a major wall that has got the ability to hit hard as well. I've given Spiritomb the stab move Dark Pulse, which of course is boosted to 120 base power, and even has a 20% chance to flinch the opponent. Next up we've got Substitute, and that can be used to set up an even greater wall that prevents Pokemon from taking down Spiritomb so easily, for at a cost of a quarter of its health, it'll probably be able to take an extra hit or two without losing any health. Finally, there's Toxic, and you guys know how that works. If you use it, the opposing Pokemon will steadily lose more health at the end of every turn until it finally faints. Finally, we reached the last Pokemon on this team, and oh, would you look at this. It's yet another Pokemon with pressure. First we had Dialga, then we had Spiritomb. And finally, we have here one of the most beloved physical attackers of the generation, Weavile. The stats on this guy are pretty great, with fantastic base 125 speed and 120 attack that blows so many Pokemon out of the water. I don't think I really need to explain this, but I of course will, as it's why it's a video. But I have to build Weavile to be a speedy physical attacker. I've given it 252 EVs in attack and speed, so that it can do the best that it possibly can, despite its absolutely garbage defenses and HP stat. It's going to be jolly too, and that will leave it with 389 speed and 339 attack. So Weavile isn't just going to outspeed everything on the field, but there's a pretty good chance it'll be crushing them beneath its powerful Dark Ice type fist as well. Let's also not forget I've given it an item, and in this case it's the Expert Belt, which will provide extra damage on all moves that are super effective. The moves in our final Pokemon today are Night Slash, Pursuit, Low Kick, and Ice Shard. Night Slash is going to be Weavile's main attacking move. Night Slash is stab boosted to 105 base power, and has a high critical hit ratio, which of course is a great secondary effect. Next is Ice Shard, which will be stab boosted to 60 base power, and is a nice option to have just in case you're facing a Pokemon relying on priority moves like Mach Punch or perhaps a Pokemon with a Toy Scarf. Followed soon after is Pursuit. Mystic, Pursuit only has 40 base power. Why would you use that? It's for Pokemon who want to switch out. See, if a Pokemon switches in on Pursuit, it'll do double the damage. So if you're a Gengar or an Alakazam, you're going down. Finally, there's Low Kick, which is great for Steel types in Pokemon like Tyranitar. Low Kick is super handy, and trust me, you'll need it in my opinion. This is a very standard Weavile moveset, and it's one that I decided would be a very, very good one, especially with Pokemon like Tyranitar running around the meta. Thankfully though, for the areas that Weavile doesn't do very well in, we have other Pokemon that can do their jobs. Well, that's gonna do it for another generation's best team. We've gone through the first 4 generations, and man, I gotta say, it felt so good to finally get the physical special split and be able to use some of the modern items we have now. This was a fun generation to revisit, even if I'm not the biggest Sinnoh fan in the world. But regardless, this was a good one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below though about this team, and I'll be sure to check them out. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you guys enjoyed this content, maybe you'll enjoy my anime content and gaming content as well. I do a lot of anime top 10s and discussions, and with the gaming channel I play Pokemon and everything Nintendo. Also follow me on social media so you get updates about when I go live on Twitch or when I upload in general. Links for all that will be in the description below. If you want to support me even further and gain cool perks, check out my Patreon. These lovely people have all given me their support over there and I couldn't be more grateful to them. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm MysticUmbreon and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.